The child suicide rate in Kansas is climbing alarmingly fast. The Kansas State Child Death Review Board says the number of suicides among children rose by 50% from 2016 to 2017.
As 41 Actions reporter Jordan Betts explains, a new initiative aims to save lives.
Number of U.S. adolescents and young adults dying of suicide has reached its highest level in 2 decades. And we must end this tragic trend.
On Wednesday, AT&T, along with Governor Laura Kelly, announced a new initiative called Believe Kansas City. The cause? Teen suicide.
We looked at the data and saw that, it's a problem nationally, but the trends and the rates in Kansas City were like outpacing national, and it was just a really big wake-up call for us.
Nationwide, suicide kills more people each year than homicides. For Kansas, the state ranks 15th in highest rates, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Governor Kelly saw this and decided to act.
The second leading cause of death for young people in Missouri and Kansas is suicide. That's completely unacceptable.
A big issue with teen suicide stems from smartphones. In an NPR report from 2017, they found teens who spend 5 or more hours a day on their phones are 71% more likely to have one risk factor of suicide. Doctors are not surprised by this.
Kids are under a ton of pressure these days. They have access to each other in a way that we never did growing up. So with social media, it's become a big thing. It's hard sometimes to turn off and just have a little bit of peace.
AT&T says they know cell phones can be addicting and cause depression. That's why they wanted to start this new initiative by giving $300,000 to different suicide nonprofits and by volunteering with those groups.
I think everybody's got an obligation to make these kids feel safe and let them know that, there's better over the hill.
Meanwhile, Dr. Sullivan encourages parents to be more proactive with their teens' phones and be open about suicide.
What we want kids to know is that there's hope, and there's no situation too terrible that we couldn't help you with.
In Kansas City, Kansas, Jordan Betts, 41 Action News.
The state of Kansas has done several things to help bring down the suicide rate. Last summer, the Attorney General's office formed the Youth Suicide Prevention Task Force to help provide recommendations on what can be done. The task force suggested an app to help at-risk youth and implementing a suicide prevention coordinator.
There are many signs that someone may be considering suicide. Some may be more obvious than others. The National Institute on Mental Health says these are a few things you should look out for. Talking about feeling great guilt or shame. If someone is acting anxious or agitated, if they're changing eating or sleeping habits, and extreme mood swings.
The National Institute of Mental Health has 5 steps you can take if you think somebody is considering suicide. Ask if they're considering suicide. Keep them safe. Be there for them. Help them connect with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and be sure to stay connected with them.